Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome to the first in this series. I will now hand you over to the Registrar, Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria, Oluseyi Awojobi, for him to give us his opening remark, and I take it up from there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Moji Bakari Aseru, the moderator of this first series of our CIBN platform. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The speaker today, Otumba Femi Pedro, I'd like to, on behalf of the President and Chairman of Council of the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria, welcome you all to this maiden edition of the CIBN platform series. I am indeed excited that you made out time out of your busy schedules to join this session. I am persuaded that you and your loved ones are keeping safe and adjusting to the new normal. The CIBN platform was conceived as a value-adding initiative geared towards empowering and supporting our members by providing them with the valuable information and education that will help them achieve their life aspirations. And I'm very glad to say that it was brought about by the circumstances of the COVID-19 pandemic breakout. And we had the blessings of the office holders and governing council to ensure that this is done. This platform will focus on lifelong learning and general multidisciplinary soft issues that have implications for individuals, micro, small and medium scale enterprises, such as self and personal management, enterprise adjustments, disruptive innovations, lifestyle adjustments, as well as that is required to make our people relevant and competitive in the new normal. So we have carefully, in the Institute as approved by our leaders, chosen this maiden edition as a theme for unlocking the timeless codes for wealth creation and entrepreneurship. We are most honored to have in our midst as a distinguished guest speaker for this maiden edition, His Excellency Otumba Femi Pedro, FCIB, the Chairman of Small Medium Enterprise Development Agency of Nigeria, as well as former Deputy Governor of Lagos State, who recently launched a valuable book that has touched lives and will continue to touch lives and make people fulfilled. You are most welcome, sir. To moderate this session is a seasoned and quintessential banker, a member of the Governing Council of the Institute, and amazingly, and we are proudly to say, Amazon of the industry, Mrs. Mojisola Bakari Aseru, ACIB, HCIB. She is currently the divisional head and corporate head of the corporate client coverage, sales in Sterling Bank PLC, and also vice chairman of the Membership Development and Services Committee of the Institute. Of course, a former governing council member, and of course, also a member of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry as an executive member. She will anchor the session as well as the interview sessions with His Excellency and the questions that you may likely raise. I am aware of the fact that several people are joining us. We have close to about 1,000 that have indicated. The new normal has afforded us the opportunity to broadcast this program to all of you at our team members at home and in diaspora, such that everyone can conveniently connect from the comforts of your homes. I therefore would like to encourage you to stay connected and take maximum advantage of this free opportunity that is coming from the fountain of experience. On this note, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you once again to this special program. Please sit back and enjoy the evening. I will humbly now hand over to the moderator, Mrs. Mojibakre. So please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Registrar. This evening, we are going to put down all rigid protocols. So you are Sheye this evening. So thank you very much, Sheye, for that very fantastic intro. And before I properly introduce our speaker for this evening, I would want us to quickly take part in a survey, for this webinar. We need to know the composition of people within this webinar, and that will be put on immediately I finish reading the biography of our seasoned speaker. I'm excited to be your moderator this evening. My name is Mojisola Asieru Sweet. I'm popularly called MB. I'm sure this is going to be a very interactive session. I want you all to please start sending in your questions. Use the chat box to send in your questions. We want to make it as interactive as possible. Now I want to very well, rightly introduce properly our speaker for today. Otumba Femi Pedro, FCIB, is an economist, banker, entrepreneur, investor, and a political leader. He is also a mentor of young and aspiring entrepreneurs. He is currently the chairman of the Small and Medium Enterprise Development Agency of Nigeria, SMEDAN, and the pioneer chairman of the Lagos State Sports Trust Fund, LSSTF. Femi Pedro began his professional banking career at the Central Bank of Nigeria before becoming one of the co-founders and seed investors at one of Africa's pioneer banks, Guaranteed Trust Bank, GT Bank, at the age of 32. Within 10 years, he became the managing director of First Atlantic Bank, FinBank, after acquiring the bank with a consortium of investors in 1998. He served as managing director of the bank until 2003, when he was elected to serve as the deputy governor of Lagos State, Nigeria's commercial capital and Africa's largest city-state. In his years as the deputy governor of Lagos State, Femi Pedro worked alongside the governor, Senator Ahmed Bola Tinubu, to embark on an unprecedented and aggressive revenue drive by restructuring, reorganizing, and re-engineering the revenue-generating mechanism of Lagos State. His wealth of experience in the banking sector as a leader, entrepreneur, and investor came to fruition as he co-piloted the transformation of Lagos State. In his time in office, he joined forces with other stakeholders towards laying a strong foundation for the ongoing economic evolution being witnessed in Lagos today. Otumba Femi Pedro is a distinguished fellow of the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria and was a member of the Governing Council for many years. He served meritoriously as a chairman, CIBN Lagos State branch from 1998 to 2002. During his tenure, the branch witnessed a significant turnaround, which set the tone for the great achievements recorded by the branch thereafter till date. He is currently the chairman, Business and Government Relations Group, a committee of the Governing Council of the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria. His Excellency, Otumba Femi Pedro, serves on the board of various business ventures and has substantial investments in banking, real estate, information technology, manufacturing, hotel, and hospitality sectors. He is an author of a widely sought after public speaker, an avid and passionate golfer. He is happily married to Honorable Justice Jumoke Pedro. Their union is blessed with children and grandchildren. You will agree with me that we can't have a better person to chair this first CIBN Platform Series 1 with a topic on unlocking the timeless codes of entrepreneurship and wealth creation. You are welcome, sir, Your Excellency, and I promise you, this is the last time we're doing today that I'm going to call you Your Excellency. So we have agreed that you are going to be Femi. So Femi, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we'll go straight. Thank you. Thank you. We'll go straight to our discussion of today. I want to ask you, let's really go to the rudiment of the first question. I mean, I read your book, Money Illusion. You spoke about money illusion. Let us start with the rudiments. And by the way, congratulations on the book. Congratulations. I mean, it's a whole lot for learning and knowing how to really create wealth. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So what is money? And is there a difference between having lots of money and being wealthy?
Thank you very much. First of all, thanks to the Institute for giving me this opportunity to be the maiden speaker. I welcome everybody on this platform. I appreciate you all. Your first question, money, what is money? Of course, for those of you who studied economics, you will know the basic definition of or basic function of money: medium of exchange, measure of value, standard of deferred payments. That is money. For the layman, money is cash, cash at hand, cash in bank. And for most people, source of money is their income, their monthly income for majority of people. So that is money for you. It has certain characteristics. It's very volatile. It's very liquid. It can evaporate any time. It loses value over time. So that is money. As against wealth. Wealth is completely different from money. A lot of people mistaking the two together. Wealth is a state of being rich and materially prosperous. It's synonymous with affluence and well-being. It gives you a feeling of empowerment, a feeling of security, and being in control of your destiny. However, technically, wealth is a function of what we call wealth instruments. If you have a deposit account yielding interest, that deposit account is your wealth instrument. The interest you are earning from it is your wealth. So without the deposit account, you won't have that wealth. If you have a real estate property, that real estate property is a wealth instrument. The rent you are receiving from it is your wealth. If you have equities, those equities are your wealth instrument. That is stock in the, you bought it from the public stock exchange. The dividend you earn from it is your wealth instrument. It's your wealth. If you own a business, if an entrepreneur, your wealth instrument is that business. The profit that comes from it is your wealth. You can now see that these wealth instruments, unlike money, cannot evaporate. They don't disappear. They hardly lose value. They do, but they grow value. If then you are seen to have wealth, if you just have money, it will disappear. Quite a lot of people in our society have made money over time, but you can't see the money anymore. Some of them are dead broke. It's because they don't invest properly, or they don't understand this knowledge, don't have the knowledge of wealth creation. So that's the money and wealth.
That's truly fantastic, sir. I mean, you took us back to school. That's our Genesis 101 there that you've just given us in a few seconds there. I mean, money, wealth, instruments, a lot of people, mix that up and they don't get the full concept early enough in terms of preparedness. So my next question to you, sir, will be on wealth creation and wealth preservation. What is your take on the two, wealth creation and wealth preservation?
Well, wealth creation is building wealth. It's just as simple as that. Wealth preservation is holding on to that wealth and growing it. And that is what you cannot do with money. Quite a lot of people have money. Maybe just today you wake up and you're appointed, into a high political office or high position in government, and you see opportunities to make money for yourself. That is making money. You cannot preserve it. And if you don't have the knowledge of wealth creation, you will lose that money. Sometimes you make money and people will say, oh, go and buy property, go and buy this, go and buy shares. That's not wealth creation. You can buy the wrong set of shares and you lose the money. You can buy the wrong set of property, you'll be stuck in court for many years, and that property will disappear, will go. So you have to have that knowledge, that understanding of wealth creation and wealth preservation. So that is the distinction.
And that really is very interesting that you said so, sir, and takes me to the next question, which is around, at a very young age of 32, you were a co-founder and seed investor in one of Africa's pioneer banks. I mean, what is the driving force, and when is the right time to start? Because I know that procrastination is always a problem. People procrastinate. I will start tomorrow, I will start today. When is the right time to start?
Well, it's one of the things I put in the book. Some years back, I was working at the Central Bank of Nigeria, and I was going to work one day, listening to the radio, and there was this interview of a man called Otumba Balogun, and I was so fascinated by what I was hearing. And I kept thinking, I hope one day I will get to meet this man and be like him. I would love to own a bank like him. And that just entered my head. And from that day, I started finding a way out of Central Bank. I was no longer satisfied with that job. And just as God will have it, I landed in Otumba Balogun's office. I was not only employed by him, I was actually put in his office. I became his executive assistant. So he became my mentor by choice. And I started having dreams of owning a bank. I didn't know how I would do it. I didn't have money, but it just occupied my mind. It's also part of the book, your dreams. And then I became passionate about it. It's also part of the book, your passion. Your passion is important for whatever you want to achieve in life. Your dream is also important. And one day, a friend of mine came to me and said, hey, Femi, some young boys like you are thinking of starting a bank, and they're looking for somebody to help them put together the papers. Since you worked at the Central Bank before, can you do that for them? And I said, why not? I would love to. So you have opportunity to make small money on the side apart from my regular job. So it took me to them, and I got there and I saw two young guys, my age mates. One was the same year with me, the other one was just a year older. I didn't take them seriously, honestly. So these are the people, because I associated bank ownership with very old and wealthy people. But when I sat with them, they were very convincing. They sounded determined. And they gave me the assignment. I completed the assignment and handed over the document to them. And they looked at it and they said, okay. The day I went to see them, there were about 6 of them in that room. All the 6 people are alive today. And as I was leaving, it just struck me. And I turned back. I said, hey, you guys really serious about this bank? They said, yes. I would like to be part of you. Because I started seeing my dream materializing at that point. And well, to cut a long story short, they told me that you can't afford it. And I asked them how much. They mentioned the amount. At that time, it was 200,000 naira minimum contribution. My annual salary was 42,000 naira per annum. At that time, this was 1989. And I asked myself, where will I get 200,000 naira? I can steal. So, but I told them I will. I didn't know where, but I told them I will. They said, you have this period. I said, no problem, I will find it. I got home and I told my wife, I see, you know that dream I told you about, that I would love to own a bank. The opportunity has just come to be part of one. And she asked me the same question, where will you get the money? I said, I know one place first. I will sell my car. Say, you sell your car? I said, yes. So what are we going to be using? Say, we'll be taking public transport until I get this investment. It was like, it sounded crazy. But it just showed you again another part of what I put in the book, your commitment and determination to your dream, and also being financially disciplined to get what you want. And that was how I started putting every dime. In fact, almost 3/4 of my salary, I was putting it aside. Late Tayo Aderiokun, who later became the MD of the bank, was the person handling the subscription. And he told me, Femi, if you want to achieve this, every month, this is how much you must be putting aside as saving. And I opened a saving account for you in my finance company. And he did that. And that's how I was able to be part of the formation of Guarantee Trust Bank. And coincidentally, honestly, at the beginning, I wasn't really interested. I was enjoying my work with Otumba Shibomba. But by the time the bank was about to be licensed and we were attending meetings, I got fascinated with the dream. They were talking something completely different. They said they wanted to shake the industry. They wanted a bank that would be a game changer. And I was listening and I was getting more fascinated, more interested. And that's how I turned out to be the first #1 employee of the bank in 1990. Incidentally, August 1st was 30 years when the bank was licensed. And that was how I was the first person to report for duty, August 1st, 1990. So that's the story, Muji.
Wow. Wow, amazing, amazing. You say that. I mean, you spoke about commitment, determination, innovative mind, you know, being disciplined, mentorship. I want to ask you, is there a nexus between leadership and wealth creation?
There's a lot of very close relationship between not leadership, but good leadership and wealth creation. In my book, let me upload for you what I called the rules of wealth. These are foundational principles that I want everybody listening tonight who is interested in making success out of their lives to imbibe. No matter what your age is, it's never too late for you to imbibe these foundational principles. And these foundational principles are the same as what you need to be a good leader. Just give me a second, let me upload this. As you can see, the slide on your screen. Let me just go straight to these foundational principles. So these are the rules of wealth. You have to have a mindset, a positive mindset, to be able to create wealth. It's not everybody. A positive mindset to be a successful entrepreneur, a positive mindset to be a successful investor, a positive mindset to be a good leader. You have to have that trajectory. I don't have time to explain it tonight, but if you buy the book, you will read a lot about it. I've just mentioned to you about dreams. You must dream dreams. From today, if there is something that you really want to achieve, start dreaming about it. Start imagining it. And don't let your dream be small, let it be big. Let me give you a just quick example. I was interviewing 3 people. I asked them a simple question. How long will it take you to buy a BMW? The first person said, well, he's driving a Toyota now. Maybe by the time he sells the car, look for more money, he will be able to buy a BMW car. And the second person said almost similar thing. And the third person scratched his head, said, wow, that's a big one. It's my dream actually to own a car company, BMW. Maybe if by the time I put team together, travel abroad, get some financier, maybe I could buy that company. So you can see the difference between 3 people. The first 2 are thinking of BMW, the car. The third person is thinking of BMW, the company. That is a matter of dream and determination for you. Many people think small. but you have to think big. Yes, you start small, but you are aiming high. That is, then I have character and integrity. There's no gainsaying about this. If you don't have this, you can't be a good leader. That is the truth. You can be a leader, but you can't be a good leader. You can't be a leader that can inspire people. You can't be a leader that leads by example. Personal and financial discipline. I've mentioned that also briefly. Maybe somewhere along the line, along the questioning, I will take time to explain this. This is actually very important. It's because of my discipline financially that I was able to put that money together. And let me tell you, if you tell somebody today, why are you not saving? The answer I will give you is because my salary is too low. I'm only earning 50,000, and how do you expect me to save? The money is not enough. But the truth is that if you don't have the discipline to save when you're earning 50,000, you will not have it when you are earning 1 million. That is the truth. The thing about this is that there are some people around us who are in high position in the banking industry or in other industry. They are earning good money. They are managers, they are senior managers, they are AGM, but they are perpetually broke. They struggle financially. The reason is because every money they hand, they spend. And the higher you go in the hierarchy, the more money you spend, the more responsibility you have, the more commitment. So if you are not disciplined at a lower level as an officer or as a young man, by the time you become a general manager, you will not be disciplined. And what will happen? You will work in this organization, you will hand good salary, and then one day you will retire or they will fire you. And then you're back to square one, you are broke. I've seen many people like this. In my book, I related the story of 4 people, young men who worked under me when I was managing director. One of them visited me a few months back, and the story was pathetic. I asked him, all the money you made, what did you do with it? And he told me the story. I had to recount the story in the book so that people can learn from it. So if you are in the banking industry, you are lucky today, you are earning a good salary. It will not last forever. This is the time for you to be disciplined financially. And of course, if you are not disciplined financially, poverty will discipline you in no time, whether you like it or not. So basically, some of these attributes on leadership are also the same as the attributes on wealth creation, true wealth creation.
Fantastic. I mean, I'm so engrossed that I had to bring out my own biro, even though I have a copy of the book as well. But I mean, hearing it live from you is different from reading it in the book. And you mentioned some fundamental things, a positive mindset. You need to have a dream, the character and integrity, very important. Personal and financial discipline. I mean, I can't help but, ask you one of the questions I just saw that some of our audience put up. And it's around, how did you get the commitment of your wife? So, I mean, that leads to a question, because the general view around in Nigeria, for instance, and I believe everywhere in the world, the general view is that when you're married, to make some kind of commitments, you need to get the commitment of your partner. How did you do it, sir?
Well, let me first of all say something. I've been married for 37 years. And I can say it openly, she's not here, that I'm where I am today because of her. Success is relative. However, you cannot achieve success if you don't have a good marriage. Either the wife or the husband will pull one or the other down. A lot of people go through that. So that is a given. So I didn't have any doubt in my mind that when I went home that day, and I told her that I wanted to sell the only car that the 2 of us had. And she gave in. She didn't argue with me. She didn't fight with me. So you can imagine that you go and tell your wife that you want to sell your car, the only family car. To do what? To put in a bank that is not even yet licensed, that you don't know whether it will survive. You don't even know whether you get the license. You don't know who the people are very well. And you're only pursuing a dream. So, but it worked out for me very well. And it had worked out. That repeated itself over and over again in my career. No decision. I took no decision in my career without involving her, and I carried her along, and vice versa for her too. And it had paid off because I believe that 2 heads are better than one.
I think that's a very important and fundamental perspective to the way you manage your situation. And I know a lot of people who are connected here today might not have managed it very well, up till now. Do you have any advice for them as to, you getting the commitment of, your spouse? I don't want to, overflog it, but it's a very major hindrance to a lot of people reaching a lot of their values.
Well, I mean, I'm not a marriage counselor, so I don't think I'm in the best position to give advice. What works for me may not work for somebody else. It has worked for me because my wife was my childhood friend. We knew each other years before I married her, and we understand each other very well. We respect each other very well, and she has absolute trust in me. And so I don't have any doubts, any hesitation to carry her along in everything that I've done in my life. She has actually been a pillar of support, and it has paid off handsomely. I will always, all my children, I give them the same advice. I mentor them. I see me and your mom, the way we do things, that is the way you should also do it with your own family. So basically, from my own perspective, it might have worked for me, it may not work for somebody else, but this is my own experience.
And that's a very good thing you have mentioned. Yeah, what works for one person does not necessarily have to work for the other, but the fundamentals of that discipline and principles, that you have to keep to be able to achieve wealth creation, which is the personal and financial discipline. There are a lot of questions coming in on that. When we will come back to that, but there are other perspectives that I want us to be able to handle now. There are various policies initiated by the Central Bank of Nigeria to cushion the effect of COVID-19. And these have been widely publicized. Most prominent is the CIBN 50 billion relief fund for SMEs. Some SMEs still claim they can't access these funds. Can SMEDAM assist in any way in this regard? And I know the banks are doing a lot in this regard.
Yeah, SMEDAN can assist, and SMEDAN has been assisting. First of all, let me explain the fund. The fund was put together by Central Bank of Nigeria, and they put this fund in the custody of a microfinance bank called NIRSAL, NIRSAL. And it's NIRSAL that manages the fund. So you have to go to NIRSAL's website, nmfbn.com.ng. I think I got the website right. I will check. And that's where you go and apply. It's about a minimum of 250,000, maximum of 25 million, tenure of up to 5 years, moratorium of up to 9 months, interest of 5%. And I know quite a lot of people, particularly those who went through SMEDAN, have gotten that support. They have been able to draw that. And the way you can go through SMEDAN is for you to register with SMEDAN. Any business person in this house today who is running a small business, a medium size or a small business, should today register with SMEDAN. And it's a 5-minute registration process. Just go online to smedanregister.ng. SMEDAN register, one word, .ng. Within 5 minutes, you are registered. They will give you a registration certificate. And then every program of the federal government, particularly of SMEDAN, will be posted to you. You will always see it on your email. They will be regularly in touch with you. And many of them who applied for this palliative actually went through SMEDAN. And SMEDAN has a lot of programs. Unfortunately, because publicity is not the best yet, so many people are not familiar with that organization. And a lot of people are cynical about government programs generally. There is a tendency to believe that if you don't know somebody, if you don't know the chairman, people have called me, please say, I want to help me. I always direct them to the website. You don't need to know anybody. In the agency that I'm chairman, you don't need to. Once you meet the criteria, you apply, they will give you what you deserve. And they have a lot of programs. The only thing SMEDAN doesn't do is they don't give out money. They don't give out loans. That responsibility falls on the Bank of Industry. That is the financial arm for small businesses and medium-sized businesses. But SMEDAN do provide grants for micro businesses. Right now, we are doing that all over the country. It's 50,000 naira. We did it in Lagos last year. We gave about almost 4,000 micro businesses in Lagos last year. And we are in other parts of the country. This year, we're going to cover another 8 states within the Federation. So SMEDAN does that, and quite a lot of other programs that SMEDAN is handling. So the 50 billion fund is through the NISA Microfinance Bank, and you have to go to their website to apply.
Thank you. Thank you for that clarification. I mean, you need to make the move first, which is very important. Everybody connected here, you need to make the move first. You need to be registered. And every bank, mine inclusive, Sterling Bank PL, has a desk, dedicated to SMEs and MSMEs, so you have to be connected and you need to register. And that connection is not by knowing the chairman, of the bank or of SMEDAN. As long as you register, you will receive information, and you must ensure that you also make sure that you prepare yourself, level of preparedness. And which takes me to the next question, sir. Most people believe that money is a major challenge to entrepreneurship. What is your take on this?
Money, yes, money is a major challenge. But in my book, I explain this. Money doesn't come first. There are certain fundamentals that you need to be a successful entrepreneur. And if you lack those fundamentals, even if you have all the money in the world, you will waste that money. And that brings me to the same rules of wealth I flashed there. Those are the first foundational principles. If you are thinking of going into entrepreneurship, owning your own business, or even going into investing to be able to create wealth, you first of all need to have those. Those are the foundation. You need to have those foundations. If you are not disciplined, if you have money, you will waste it. You will throw it away. A lot of people run businesses these days. They will go to the tills of their business on a Friday, carry the cash, put it in their pocket, and go and enjoy, drink champagne, go to nightclub. Then on Monday morning, they will be struggling. That is part of the indiscipline that many people exhibit when they run businesses. So those are the foundational principles. In addition to that, even money is important, but you need to know how much money you need. And how do you know this? Before you start a business at all, do a business plan professionally. That will bring out your capital requirements. That will tell you how much equity you need to put in the business. It will also show you where you can raise funds to be able to start your business. A lot of people start businesses, they undercapitalize. They don't put enough money in the business. And from day one, the business starts to struggle. It's also in the book, I call it the fundamentals of entrepreneurship. So as important as money is, it's not the main thing you need to succeed. It's one of the things you need to succeed, and you need to know how much of it you need. If you have too much of it, you will waste it. If you don't have enough, it will be a problem.
So discipline is at the core of it all. I mean, everything you said is about discipline and the tenacity in you wanting to succeed and you following through to that dream. Now, COVID-19, this is extremely important, and I must ask you this question. The COVID-19 pandemic has caused disruption to SMEs operations and the global economy. The United Nations forecast that the global economy is set to contract by 4.2% in 2020, which will make it the worst recession in record time since the Great Depression of the 1920s, right? The Nigerian economy in particular is expected to contract this year by 3%, according to the World Bank. in spite of these gloomy statistics, and from a personal perspective, I see a lot of opportunities. What insights and strategies would you give SMEs and business owners on how to thrive and scale up their business during this pandemic period?
Let me first of all say that the business environment in this country, in our country, Nigeria, is very difficult. The terrain is tough and it's complex. It's only for those who have the courage, who are brave enough to weather the storm. You know why? Quite a lot of things are not in place, including poor infrastructure, poor power supply, high interest rates, non-availability of capital to do enough business. So I can keep naming it all. Now, in addition to this, like I said earlier on, a lot of people are in business, but they are not doing well because they are not doing the right things they should do because they didn't have the knowledge. That's the truth. You can have a degree in engineering, in business administration, in whatever. If they don't teach you entrepreneurship, how to start and run a business, you will learn on the job, and it takes a while to get into it. However, in spite of all this that I've described, COVID-19 came. And COVID-19, look at COVID-19 pandemic like a storm. Imagine you are climbing the ladder and a storm starts to rage. If you are not careful, if you don't hold tight to that ladder, the storm will blow you away. And this is what is happening now. Now, for many businesses who are struggling before COVID-19, who just barely make things happen, COVID-19 will make their situation worse, certainly. And this is not only peculiar to Nigeria, it's all over the world. That is why many countries came to the aid of businesses. Nigeria has also released its own COVID-19 palliative and intervention support program. But we all know that it's not enough. A lot of people don't even know what this program is all about. They don't have access to it, and they have not been able to benefit from it. We all know that. So it's very difficult. So what our advice is this? First advice, anybody running a business during this period must first of all stay alive. When you stay alive, you have 100% profitability. That is the first thing. Personally survive this period. Don't worry too much about your business. Worry more about your own personal survival and the people around you and your workers. That's number one. Number two, I haven't said that. The business at this point in time is not, your goal is not profitability. Forget about profitability. Your goal is liquidity. Cash is king. Keep your business afloat. As much as you can sell, even if you can give discounts, if you can be creative to be able to take advantage of this lockdown or slow down business activity. And as I'm talking to you, everybody knows that prior to the pandemic, $1 was 360 naira. Today is about 480 naira. You can imagine the pain people will be going through to be able to buy raw materials, to be able to buy things that are imported. Some, their product is actually imported. They sell imported products. Imagine where they're going to get additional money to buy the same quantity of products. So it's a challenging period. And that is why I advise again, first, profitability takes a back seat. Liquidity is very key. Keep your cash. Be financially disciplined. This is not the time to be frivolous. This is the time to spend wisely. This is the time to keep the optimal number of employees you can serve, you can service. This is the time to be customer service conscious. This is the time to repackage your product and your business in tune with the new reality. So you have to do a lot more thinking. But more importantly, you want to stay alive and you want your business to survive this period. This pandemic will go away eventually. It will be a matter of history. We will look back and you will say, thank God I took this measure I survived, and I'm now here to run my business properly.
I'm happy you keep on hammering on the financial discipline, because I see a lot of questions coming in, and we'll still soon come to the questions by our viewers today. I'm happy you've mentioned financial discipline over and over again. An optimal number of staff, that is operational efficiency, is extremely important right now. This is not a time to, go frivolous. And moving a lot of things into the virtual space is also extremely important. You have to ensure your customer service is on top, for you to win in this time. And I do hope that a lot of the attendees of this webinar will really take that up. Whatever business you are doing, which is what you're telling us, is that you need to do it very well. You need to ensure that customer service is top of mind.
Yeah.
Thank you for that perspective. My next question is, in a recent survey conducted by PwC, 57% of Nigerian SMEs cited multiple taxation and a lack of coordination between the federal and state agencies as a major challenge. Given your experience as a former deputy governor of Lagos State, what do you recommend as an efficient solution to this problem?
Okay. First of all, the incidence of multiple taxation has been with us for a while. But I must say that it has reduced significantly, thanks to the Joint Tax Board, who has done a good job over the years to harmonize most of the taxes. Today, we know that incorporated companies pay all their taxes to FIRS, Federal Inland Revenue Service. They are even making it such a way that when you open a bank account, your tax ID must accompany the account opening package, so that you know that you have to pay all your taxes. And we know that enterprises, that is companies or businesses that are not fully incorporated, pay their taxes to state governments. And that is clear. There is no multiple taxation there at all. Where you have multiple taxation is where you have these contentious charges by local governments, who will charge you for radio and TV, who will charge companies for parking. LASA, Lagos State Signing Agency, will charge you for signage fees. If you put a sign in front of your business, they will come after you. Then you have to pay land use charge as a form of property tax. And if you run a restaurant or a bar, you are also forced to pay sales tax to the state government. So these are taxes that some companies feel like they are multiple taxation. I haven't paid my income tax to FIRS. Why am I expected to be paying sales tax again? Why should the company say I should come and pay signage fee? And these issues have been around for quite a while. It's a difficult balancing act. The local government has to survive revenue generation. The state government has to also survive by generating revenue so that they can provide public services. But the businesses want to thrive. They don't want to be buried under the weight of heavy taxation. So we must continue to strike that balance. And but I believe that the incidence has reduced considerably. Remember many years ago, if you are traveling from Lagos to Warri, you get to a state, you just see some boys will appear from nowhere, put a plank on the road, and you can't go anywhere. And they will extort money from you. They will say local government levy. But those things have disappeared now. You don't see them anymore. So the tax system is a bit more harmonized and it's clearer, even though small businesses suffer a lot from multiple taxation. And at this period of COVID-19, I want to appeal, and I'm doing that even privately, to state governments and local governments. They can give tax incentives to the small businesses operating in their domain. I think Cross River State did that, and River State also did abolish taxation completely during this period of COVID-19. It's part of the palliative. I would love to see more of that being done. So that's the bit of it.
And really, I was deliberate in asking you that question, knowing your footprint in Lagos State. So we expect that you will help us to ensure that we see more of that, in Lagos State. and every state in Nigeria.
I will do
and
best.
Thank you. I must ask you, what is the end goal of wealth? Is wealth synonymous with happiness and fulfillment?
That's a very interesting question. For me, and it's also in my book, wealth is the ultimate freedom. And the highest attainable level of wealth is what I call the absolute financial freedom. But there are another level. You could be content with being financially independent or being financially secure. However, wealth means different things to different people. For some people, it means a quiet and comfortable life, free of any worries. For others, it's an opportunity to touch lives and make an impact on society and build a legacy. You don't have to be filthy rich to be able to do all this. Okay, so once you attain a certain level of wealth, and that is the difference between wealth and poverty. Poverty, being in a poverty trap, is, it's a different, I explained earlier on, you might be a general manager in a bank or in an oil company. You might be earning 1 billion naira a month. Do you understand? And you may still struggle financially. You are in poverty trap. You are not wealthy. You may think that you are wealthy, but you are not wealthy. In the final analysis, there are other aspects of life, in addition to wealth, that might bring you happiness and fulfillment, such as a good health, happy marriage, loving children. You don't have to be so wealthy to be happy if you have all that. So that's my own perspective of wealth and happiness.
I'm glad you shared that personal perspective with us. And that takes me to the next thing I want to mention, poverty trap. We might have some of our audience who are already in that poverty trap. Is it too late to start wealth creation?
Not at all. It's not. It's easier for
Let
you.
me put the question in a better perspective. When is the right time to start wealth creation? You were lucky. You started putting something together at 32. A lot of people might have those opportunities at a younger age. What will be your perspective?
The first day you start work in your life, age of 21, 22, after your NYSC, that is when you should start. That's when you should start dreaming dreams. That's when you should start envisioning your future. That's when you start being determined. You should start having passion for something. And then that's when you should start saving and investing. That's when you should start investing. And investing, you don't have to be an entrepreneur to be wealthy. You can actually be a full-time employee of an organization and retire in that organization and grow your wealth alongside your regular job. If, for instance, today you are 21 years old and you have just been employed in a bank and you're earning, let me say, 100,000 or 150,000 naira a month, and you set aside 20% of that income, you open an investment account today and you speak with that broker. Please, I'm not after profit. I'm only after capital growth. Just buy blue chips for me. Any Nestle, any GTB, any Mobu, you see, every month I'll be putting this small amount of money there. That's how I started. That was even before I was 32 years old. I was at the Central Bank of Nigeria when I opened an investment account. And I became engrossed in it. Every day when I wake up, the first thing I do is to grab the paper and open the stock exchange page to see how my shares are doing. I had a jotter with me. I was always checking. So if you do that at 21, I can tell you today, by the time you turn 35, you are already a millionaire, a multi-millionaire. Trust me, you will lose some money in the stock market, you will gain it more. And that's just one example. You may decide that I want to be a real estate guru, a baron in the real estate industry. So the first thing you are going to do is to start reading up about real estate. You are working in a bank or you are working in an establishment. That doesn't stop you from investing in real estate. And again, you start by putting money aside gradually. Your first target is maybe I want to buy a flat in Surulere or in Yaba or somewhere in Ikeja, and I'm not living there. I'm still renting my apartment. Does it sound crazy? You are a tenant and you are buying a flat as an investment. That is how you do it. That is how you do it. And the day you buy your first flat, you are on your way to owning a mansion, to owning block of flats. Just the journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. Let me quickly say something. The time to enjoy life, the time to travel on vacation, the time to carry an iPhone 11, the time to buy a Gucci bag will come. There's always a right time for that. You cannot eat your dinner for breakfast. When dinner time comes, you will be hungry. So when you are young, it's the time to build your future. There's no hurry in carrying it. Right now, at my age, now I can buy any type of phone I want in this world. I can travel everywhere because I worked hard for it. I prepared myself for it. And that is the way I want young people to start to see life. The Bing and all the things that look so rosy on internet, that you also want to be part of it. That time will come. There's time for everything.
Wow, there's time for everything. And you've spoken so well on the poverty trap and the wealth ladder. But I still want to mention that there might be some that have really missed it, right now.
Sorry, I've not even spoken about the wealth ladder. Let me just, sorry to interrupt you. Let me just.
No, that's fine. I mean, this is all about you. We want to learn from you today.
Let me just quickly upload the wealth ladder for you. Sorry, excuse me. This is the wealth ladder. You can see the guy at the bottom. It's in poverty trap. It's a state of perpetual financial struggle. And I've said it. It's not only for somebody who don't have a job. You can also be in poverty trap when you have a good job. You are rising high in your organization, but you are always struggling perpetually. Your rent is coming due, you are scared. Your children's school fees is falling due, you are worried. You don't have any fallback. You rely only on your monthly income. You are in poverty trap. You don't have any investments. If there's any emergency, God forbid, on your health or something very dear to you, you'll be scrambling, begging for money all over the place. This is not a position that I want anybody to be in. I want you to now work hard to lift there's nothing wrong in being there, even at a very young age. This is where you start from. So this is the wealth ladder. You want to, your minimum target is to be in a position of financial security. Financial security is one, you have a roof over your head. You are not paying rent. So it's your home. You are comfortable enough to have a car and you can change it every 4 years. You can take care of your family. Your children can attend the kind of school that you want them to attend. You do not struggle so hard to be able to provide for your needs and your wants. That is the basic, that is wealth, the basic target for you to be in. So this is the ladder, and it takes time to climb that ladder. It's not an overnight thing. You need to persevere. You will be patient. You will be dogged. You will be determined. You will be tenacious. So these are the characteristics, and you have courage. Muhammad Ali says that who is afraid to take risk will not be able to achieve anything. So you must also be open to take risk, to be able to take big steps in your life. And that is how you climb from poverty trap to financial security to financial independence. That's even higher than financial security. And then the ultimate, absolute financial freedom. And there's nothing obscene about this at all. And those who make money through fraudulent means, cannot get this, they cannot get to that absolute financial freedom. That money will disappear because they do not understand, they don't have those foundational principles that it requires to build wealth from poverty trap to absolute financial freedom. So this is the wealth ladder that you talk about. So you can go ahead with your question. Thank you very much.
I mean, you've actually answered the question in terms of, you know, when to start. You've said that there is no timing that is late. Because you're 60 does not mean you can't start putting something together. I mean, if you are going to live till 70 and you live till 100 and you don't prepare for it, that will be a lot of jeopardy. So you've really answered that. I now want to go to our participants today. We have a lot of questions. I see that the people helping us in the background have been able to answer some, but there are some, you know, targeted at you specifically. And this is from Olayinka Ajayi. He said, how important is it for young entrepreneurs to find a mentor? How easy is it to find a mentor?
Well, there are two questions there. How easy or how important? Okay, let me first of all take care of the first one. How important? Is very, very important. If you want to achieve success, if you want to create wealth, if you want to be a good leader, you must find a mentor. However, to get to that point of mentorship, you must first of all have determined what you want to achieve. You already have a dream. You already have a passion for something. You may be, whatever you have passion for, maybe where you are working now, may not be where you are working, but you know where you are going. So the next thing for you is to now find somebody in that industry where you are going or where you are targeting or in that sector who has achieved something there, who you feel can inspire you. Choose that person as your mentor. You need somebody you can stand on his or her shoulder so you can see far ahead. Somebody who can show you the way. Now, that mentor may be far away from you. You may not even be somebody you know. You may not even know you have chosen him as your mentor. As your mentor. You may not know. He may not even know you. Might never have met you. But you are spending all your days and your time monitoring him, studying him, reading about him, finding out how he gets to where he is today. Do you understand? So that is mentorship. If you are lucky, you can approach the person personally and put yourself under him. Sir, I want you to mentor me. And if you are lucky, he will accept to mentor you. If not, that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't stop you. So it's very important. Mentorship is very important if you want to attain, you know. So to choose a mentor is a bit difficult. First of all, you must know where you are going. You must be able to understand those who are making waves where you are going, who have already achieved genuine success where you are going. And then you now have to start gathering materials about them. Then the tricky or most difficult part is to be able to approach them and put yourself under their care. Some of them may refuse you. They will say, oh, I don't have time, or I'm too busy. You understand? But sometimes your mentor can even be somebody closer to you. You may not realize it. Somebody may even be your mom or your dad or your cousin or an uncle or an older friend. And in my rules of wealth, I said, yeah, one of the rules that you must take note of is keeping the right company. Once you determine where you are going, you are not going to move up. Your lifestyle has to be focused on people who are in that area. You are looking for conferences, workshops, dinner, events, where these people will gather together. You want to be in their midst. You want to rub shoulder with them. You want to hear gist of what is happening. That is keeping the right company. I'm not saying you should run away from your old friends, but yes, your old friends are good. Socialize with them, you know, bond with them, but you now have a new target of friends. They are probably much older than you. In my own case, when I was working under Otumba Balogun, it didn't take me long to find out who were his contemporaries. I used to follow him to board meetings, and I started watching all of them. Anytime I read about an event happening, or I see Otumba's timeline and events that he's planning to attend, I'm already positioning myself to be there. And that helped me a lot. And I was able to learn so many things, even being in their midst. So it's very, very important. Those two things are important.
Thank you for mentioning that we need to be deliberate, you need to be strategic, you need to position yourself. There's nothing impossible for you to get, even a mentor, but you have to be deliberate about it. Sometimes your mentor can reject you, but tenacity can also bring a lot out, which is what you have said to us. I see Omo Zakwa Akaleme. He has a whole lot of questions, but I'll pick just one or two from his questions. He says he wants to know your point of view of financial services and their contribution to the success of entrepreneurs in Nigeria compared to other countries. He likes your point of view on survival. What suggestions do you have for those who were struggling to survive even before the pandemic? So he believes that your strategy for survival are for those who have already survived already. So what's your strategy for those who are struggling?
Okay, first of all, on the financial services, I'm a banker by profession, and I was a managing director of a bank many years ago. I spent 18 years in the banking industry, and I know that we have not reached where we should be when it comes to supporting businesses and entrepreneurs. I know there's still a lot to be done. The banking industry is not playing the right role it should be playing. We focus too much on big ticket items, big companies. We focus more on protecting assets and being able to avoid risky ventures, which is natural for a banking business. However, we should do more by designing products for small and medium-sized businesses and finding a way to help them. For instance, one of the greatest problems that I've noticed in our environment is that quite a lot of people have great ideas. They have passion for something. They want to start a business and they feel they are ready. But the greatest impediment for them is the startup capital. Where are you going to get that kind of money? To start this business, you need 10 million naira. You don't have a dime. Even if you save, to get the 10 million naira will take you years. In other parts of the world, there are venture capitalists, firms, who are probably subsidiaries of banks, are created to pull funds together from people who have Essex funds and who are looking for. Remember, I said to you that wealth creation, part of wealth creating instrument is to have holdings of private businesses. You have shares in a business that is not publicly quoted. This is how you do it. You go into venture capital and you buy shares, you buy units there. And whatever you put in there is being used to fund somebody with a good idea, a creative product or innovative product. So this is absent in our country, and it's a business opportunity. Anybody listening, particularly those of you in the banking industry, this is a business opportunity for you to come together with a few other people and start a venture capital, company. Not the one chasing after oil and gas deals or LNG deals or big deals in other sectors or airline and transportation. No, the ones that are catering for MSMEs, small businesses who need like 2 million, 5 million, 10 million to start a good business, and they are looking for venture capital support. So that's bit I would say about the financial services industry and support for entrepreneurs in starting businesses and even giving them working capital. The second part, what the young man asked about what do you do to help people who are struggling? And that's the point I made. If you don't have those foundational principles, you will struggle. No matter how hard you work, you will struggle. I'm not joking. You will struggle. I just take one of them. Like I mentioned, if you don't have the discipline, you will struggle. Even if somebody gives you money, you will struggle. So you need to build your foundation. Go back to school. See, let me tell you, if for instance, you want to be an entrepreneur and you are ready, you are not starting today. If you are lucky, you are working somewhere already earning your salary. So postpone the start day. Start acquiring knowledge, learning. That's how you do it, so that you have enough experience of what you are going into. A lot of businesses, before you go into it, it looks rosy from outside. By the time you jump into it, you start seeing things that you were not aware of before. So you need to have, and that's part of the rules of wealth that I mentioned, apprenticeship. Anybody who is going to start going to a business, you must first of all put yourself under somebody in a similar business. Learn the wherewithal, the intricacies, the hidden knowledge, the hidden problems that you're not seeing. Apprenticeship is very important. So when you have all this, you will not struggle, and you'll be able to raise enough capital to start up. You will not struggle. Even when COVID 10,000 comes, you will weather that storm. Remember that during this COVID-19, some businesses are still doing well. They are thriving. They are doing well. Some of them have even managed their products, services. They have changed the face of it to fit in with the new normal. So everything has to do with you. There's no magic wand about it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I mean, you've mentioned that foundation is very important, and your state of readiness is also extremely important. You have to do some apprenticeship. It is important. One thing I need to critically, speak to is the fact that there are a lot of opportunities for SMEs and MSMEs. I believe that is the level of preparedness that is not making a lot of people be able to harness this. I mean, the central bank has made it mandatory for every bank to have SME and MSME desk, and there are a lot of products, a lot of values that are being given without seeming patronizing. I mean, my bank, Sterling Bank, we have a lot of these things in place, and a whole lot of other commercial banks in Nigeria. And I dare say that the Chartered Institute of Bankers are also pushing to ensure that there's availment of financing, not only to the big tickets that you spoke about, but also the SMEs and MSMEs. We have a question in from
let me quickly also add something.
Yes.
At Smedan, we just created a new desk. We call it Business Development Service Providers. We want to start in people who are experts in supporting MSMEs, in providing certain consultancy services for them. So that when you are an MSME, you want to approach Sterling Bank for support, you first of all visit this business development service provider who will help you prepare yourself, prepare you. Your book of accounts are in order. You have your audited account. Everything is in place. You have done your cash flow projection. Your business is well defined. What do you want to use this money for? What will be the impact of this money you are taking? How are you going to be able to pay back? How will you be able to finance the interest of those? So those are the kind of additional services that Smedan is providing now. And we started providing that. If you are registered with them, with us, you will get this kind of information. And I want to also appeal to Moji and all the other bankers here. This is kind of thing that you can also be doing. You can also have a department that is preparing your customers for support. Yes. So that they will not just come from outside with incomplete papers and the requests that you can easily say no to because they have been poorly prepared. A lot of people just do cut and paste. They tell an accountant, let me prepare my books. I want to go to Sterling Bank to apply for loan. That will not work these days. So you need to do it properly and professionally. Sorry for
Thank you very much. Don't be sorry. I've said today is all about you. And I'm glad that you mentioned that you already have a desk as well for business development at Smedan. And I can assure you that all commercial banks, mine included, you know, we don't just leave the SMEs and MSMEs on their own. We actually guide them towards ensuring that their documentation, you know, are in order. At this point, I want to say thank you for our people who have joined us from Canada, USA, the United Kingdom. Thank you for joining. And I'll take this question from Kenny from Canada. Kenny says, sir, can anyone create wealth without financial literacy?
No. that's
easy and quiet. No.
no, yes. You need to be, financial literacy is not knowledge of accounting or business management. No, it's not the same. Financial literacy is understanding wealth, money, investments, and entrepreneurship. That is financial literacy. And that is not taught in the university. If you read the first chapter of my book, I call it Winners Don't Quit. I related the story of Nnamdi Ezeugo, the founder of Slot. The way he started, he's an engineer by training, and he started his business at a computer village, and he was moving on, but struggling until he realized I needed to go back to school, to Lagos Business School, to learn entrepreneurship and to be financially literate. It was after that that his world blew wide open. He learned quite a lot of things, and he was able to change his business model. And that's how the company became hugely successful. And that's why you see a Slot is now a franchisor, giving franchises out to people to open slot shops all over the country. So financial literacy is very key.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Very key, financial literacy. There's so many questions, and I believe that we will still have to reach out to you even after this webinar for you to answer the questions. And I believe we have to take there was a survey that I encouraged everyone to take at the beginning. We might just see the results of the survey. While they are putting that up, Foluke Ademokun asked that, does SMEDEN have any policy targeting women specifically? So can we quickly please take this survey? Then we'll now come back to Foluke's question. I'm taking mine as well. So I've taken mine. Did you remember to take yours?
Yes, I've done it.
Thank you. So while that is going on, if you could quickly answer Foluke Ademokun's question. She says that, does SMEDEN have any policy targeting women specifically?
Yes, they do. Women Entrepreneurial Training and Support Program. They do. They provide special training for women. However, they are mostly micro businesses. Women who are selling, buying and selling, and doing small businesses. Most of them are actually illiterate, but they give them some kind of support in training, capacity building, so they understand how to separate their sales proceeds from their personal money, and how to be able to turn over, how to keep stock, how to keep records. So they do.
That's good. I have this question from Ndubusi Ofuego. He says, how do you handle external factors such as inflation and capital depreciation when saving for your goal?
Well, saving for your home. Remember when I was talking about real estate, I didn't talk about home. The house you live in is an investment, but it's not a wealth-creating asset, because you are not earning income from it. In fact, you are spending more money on it. What is very important is at the initial stage, yes, everybody wants to own a home of his own, but you have to build capital. And the way you do it is, savings is just a first step. the major, most important step is to open an investment account. An investment in equities or in other private shares or any other business is more stable and more profitable than savings account. As we are talking to you today, the interest rate on savings is far below the rate of inflation. Most of the banks are not even paying 5%. So it's not attractive. However, as unattractive as it seems, it's still much better than not saving. If you don't save, you spend it, you consume it. There's nothing else you do with money. You either save it or you consume it. So the only other option other than saving is investing. So you can start from day one investing the money. You don't really need to save it. So investment is more stable, more profitable than savings. So, and you can use that investment to fight inflation if you pick the right form of equities.
Thank you. Thank you very much for answering that. And Mojisola Okonlami says, I can't but help pick my namesake to give you her question. She says, I like your emphasis on genuine success. How do you identify people with genuine success?
When you see people, the way they spend money, you will know whether they are truly worthy or they are not. Robert Stanley says it. Let me bring his quote out. Just give me a second. Sorry, that's not him. He said, before you can become a millionaire, you must learn to think like one. You must learn how to motivate yourself to counter fear with courage. The truly wealthy people have a certain way they behave. They have a certain way they act. I've seen a millionaire who is living in a three-bedroom flat, not living in a mansion with 10 bedrooms. That's when you see what you call money misroad. Somebody who is owning 10 Rolls Royce, live in a big mansion, wants to show off to the whole world that he has made good money. Look at Aliko Dangote. Do you know where he lives? He lives in VI here. Doesn't live in a huge house. You know, so they discipline themselves, the way they act, the way they behave. And, you know, you have to study them. So when you see a man with money who is not worthy, you will know. He will be loud. He will go to parties, start throwing dollars all over the place. He will wear clothes once the whole world to recognize that he's rich. Meanwhile, a truly wealthy man will just wear a blue jeans and a shirt. You understand? He knows where he puts his money and where he enjoys his wealth. So that's the difference between those who have money and those who are truly wealthy. You will know the difference. You will see them when you need them.
Thank you very much, Femi. Unfortunately, we have come to the end of our Q&A. Wow. And I thank you for allowing me to call you Femi today. No we really still do have a lot of questions, over 40 questions. Wow. And I want to assure all that have joined us on this webinar that
do you have a time limit, something that is stopping you from asking all the questions?
Yes, they are actually telling me in the background that we should wrap up, but if the registrar can use his good office, if you want us to go 30 minutes to be able to answer some of the questions, you know. But I mean, if that doesn't happen, because I meant to hand over to him, it has really been an honor, you know, being the moderator and asking you these questions. I've learned a lot myself from you. It's not the same reading the book like hearing you say it. And there are a lot of things that I'm going to put in place, a lot of discipline that I'm going to work on myself. And I'm sure a lot of those who have joined us today are also going to put those into perspective. It's never too late for us to start in that wealth creation. So the wealth ladder is not limited to anybody. So we have the result of the poll, now out. So here, I believe in terms of age range, we have more of 41 to 50. So they are telling this age gap, and everybody that has joined, that it's not too late for us to start that wealth creation. And wealth preservation is also something that we should all be looking out to. So Otumba Femi Pedro, FCIB, I thank you for accepting to lead the discussion today for us on our CIBN platform series 1, Unlocking the Timeless Codes for Entrepreneurship and Wealth Creation. And I do hope that a lot of our viewers and those who are participating in this webinar have learned a lot. If I have learned as much as I've learned, I'm sure that a lot have learned a lot. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity for interviewing you. Thank you, sir.
It's my pleasure, Muji. Thank you very much. Before Sheye comes on, it's been a very enjoyable evening. I thank all the people who are listening. And I really want to appeal to you to try and get a copy of the book. It's not because I want to sell a book. Actually, it's partly because of that. It's part of my own strategy for wealth creation. But seriously, some of these things, I did a lot of work to bring out some of these facts. And I really want to share it with people who want to change their status, who want things to get better for them. And I think our CIBN bookshop has copies of the book, so we can approach them. Or you can actually go online, just look for Formula for Wealth.ng/buy. That's the name of the book, Formula for Wealth. That's a copy of the book here, I'm showing you. The CIBN bookshop has copies they are selling. And so thank you very much, Mr. Sheye Awojobi, the registrar.
Thank you, sir. Before you go to Sheye, I want to say that it's been an honor for me moderating this particular webinar, a major honor. My name is Mojisola Bakari Asieru, ACIB, CIB. I work for Sterling Bank PLC, and thank you all for allowing me to do this. And I also want to thank the 3% of those that have joined us from Europe. Thank you so much. Those from the UK, those from Canada, those from US, thank you so much for joining. And of course, my home base, Nigeria. Thank you so much. Thank you, Lagos. Thank you, Cross River, all the states that have joined in. Thank you so much. Now I hand over to the registrar, Olusheye Awojobi, FCIB. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Moji. And Otumba, indeed, it's been a wonderful evening. I think before my wrap up, I'd like everybody who have participated to please put up a warm round of applause for Otumba giving us this opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. It's a very wonderful evening, and hearing it live and direct from somebody who was an employee, and indeed somebody who had tasted poverty. If you read the book, you will know that he tasted poverty. He became an employee, he became an employer, he became a successful banker, an investor. Of course, he had also seen it in public service as a politician. And today he's giving us his thoughts. In CIBN, this idea of the platform series is the second of the issues and the innovation we brought out under the COVID-19 pandemic. The first is actually the advocacy series, which talks about policy. The platform series is to actually enhance our people's members and younger people indeed to get to the state of fulfillment. I want to sincerely say that we are very, very happy that it's been a very good takeoff, and Otumba joyously accepted to do this for us. And I like to state clearly that out of the 330 people that you can see, there are a multitude of other people following on YouTube. We have close to about 750 who are watching this program. Amongst them, we have past presidents of the Institute, those who we can say they are very wealthy, but they want to learn more and they want to continue to be wealthy, ably led by Otumba Debola Oshibogun, FCIB. I know she's very keen hearing us. We've seen directors, we've seen very successful people, and by all standards, I'm sure they believe in what we're talking about, unlocking the potentials of wealth creation. Otumba, thank you very much. You have given us a tonic. Like you rightly pointed out, this book that you have espoused us to, which I'm showing right now, that's my copy, is available at the CIBN bookshop. And of course, CIBN bookshop can sell to everybody, even online, if you want the hard copy or you want the soft copy. Some of the things Otumba had actually espoused us to, which is very, very key to us, is that not profitability should we be pursuing right now under this COVID-19, but liquidity, and keep your cash as much as possible if you are an entrepreneur in this respect. Repackage your business. Keep your customer service, especially in the banking industry today. And I will be very careful trying to recap everything. That means we want to spend another 1.5 hours. But of course, it's important to see how gender sensitive this gentleman, successful man for that matter, is by appreciating his ebullient wife. He said it, whatever I am today, it is the courtesy of Honorable Justice Jumoke Pedro. Behind every successful man and beside, in front, at the back, is a successful woman. Thank you for appreciating the gender role here. And of course, you were able to clearly state it. And this is not the first time. Mentorship. You have not forgotten how you were mentored, especially by Otumba Shubomi, whom everybody will attest to the fact that he's a fulfilled investor, is a quintessential banker. And today we are seeing you in that role. The only difference is that he didn't go into politics like you, but you dare it and you went into it, and you are still very, very appreciated. We'd like to thank you for this. And of course, you stated it again, apprenticeship, that whatever we want to go into as entrepreneurs, we should, of course, learn from other people. The example in your book, which you stated again, is that of Ezego. Every one of us goes to Sakatinumbu today to go and buy the best of telephone. iPhone 11, minimum of 650,000, which could also establish a block making industry for anyone who wants to become. Without much ado, we want to say very, very big thanks to you. But I cannot leave this stage without acknowledging the fact that by the grace of God, you made me what I am today. Our paths crossed crossed each other several years back. But I live in a house that you paid me commission on today. And that is the commission I used in purchasing the land. Thank you, my mentor. Thank you, my boss. And I know I can tell the story. For the purpose of this, everybody would attest to the fact that you mentored the governor of Lagos State, current governor, when we were all working with you. And today, you must be a proud investor, not only in entrepreneurship, but in human capacity and making the best out of people. I just believe that people still glue, even they could not go for their dinner, because you made a statement that you cannot take your breakfast as dinner, because when the dinner comes, you may not have anything to take. So this is like we sow a mustard seed, even for this time, and that will grow to an oak tree. On behalf of the Governing Council of the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria, the President and Chairman of Council, and I know there are office holders in this platform. Let me quickly acknowledge that Barrister Pius Olanrewaju has glued to this, and he's been there. He's the second Vice President, and a lot of other Governing Council members, too numerous to mention. I really want to say thank you and thank you. And on behalf of my colleagues in executive management, we appreciate you. We will come back with more series and we will invite many more people. God bless you.
God bless you all.
Thank you, sir.
God bless you
Thank
all.
you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you, everybody,
Thank
for
you.
joining.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.